So one of the reasons why I'm going to start shooting some more video is because of No Name Nationals. I watched the Dodge Garage and Just Mopar Joe. I watched both of their channels, watch a lot of their content, and I was really excited about the No Name Nationals, and they have a pretty achievable goal, I think, of like 500 subscribers. I currently have about like 80, so I figure if I start now, maybe I can get the 500 and get qualified, and then man, it'd be fun to take the Valiant to Missouri and run with the rest of the Mopar guys. So definitely a goal. So if anybody can help me out by liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel so I can hit that goal, I'd appreciate it. So it's been a while since I've made any kind of a video, and for good reason. It looks a lot different in my shop because I have moved 900 miles away with a Flamingo down to South Carolina. I actually just got my enclosed trailer back. Thank you, Reese Trailer Sales in Mills River, North Carolina. I blew one of the hubs clean off of one of the sides, damaged the side of the trailer. It was a mess. So made a big move, went down to South Carolina, brought the family down here, and luckily the place that I got down here has a detached garage as well, so I'm able to do some work. The Valiant is in the attached garage. Man, if you ever think that maybe you have a little bit of stuff or have too much stuff, move 900 miles away and pack all that crap up and move it. Luckily, we had movers to help. I don't think the Chrysler, the New Yorker, has been on the channel. But now that things have settled down, what I'm going to do, originally I was going to install the Hyper or Holley Sniper EFI on the Valiant. I think I'm going to keep the Valiant just old school simple, and I'm actually going to put the Sniper system on the New Yorker. This thing has some issues with some hot starting. I wanted to change the intake on it anyway. This thing is totally factory. It is a factory 440 car, New Yorker, you know. I actually have the original 440. This is not the original 440. It is a mid-70s low power, low compression 440 that somebody had swapped in. But it's fine because this thing will drink just regular nasty old drip gas and float down the road at 55 miles an hour, happy as can be. So it doesn't need to make a bunch of power. There is the original 440 that came out of the car. Yeah, the code's not really showing up on there. I'd had to scrape it down. But I want to swap on the Performer intake onto this thing, swap the Holley Sniper on here. And some of the goals with this car: fuel injection, get it running and driving. I want to be able to drive this thing to like Mopar Nats next year, and I'll probably swap in a better gear set, probably like a 355. One of the goals I have is to actually use this car to tow my Valiant to the racetrack. So I just think that, you know, the old 60s style, the people towing their race cars to the track with their like family cars, that's like epic levels of 1960s, 1970s goodness. So I'll take some video of doing the swap. Okay, I ran into something with this Hyper Spark distributor. So you have to, or you may have to, clearance your cylinder head depending on how much parting line flash you have on the passenger side cylinder head. I had to grind quite a bit back so that the housing would fit. But now that I got that in there, kind of hard to do this with one hand, but at least now the distributor will go in and it seats all the way down. Before, it would not seat, and then also you could not turn the housing at all, which is something that is critical when you're trying to put their alignment doodad on there. Again, this is a little hard to do with one hand, but you get the gist. You gotta turn this until the alignment, there we go. So alignment cup is on there. It's all set to be set down. It's on the compression stroke. It's on number 1. And it has a little spot for the mark where you mark number 1. So just something to be aware. Got the factory intake off, and I had to remove the AC pump, obviously, to get all that nightmare out of there. But good Lord, that was probably taking, 40 pounds off the front end of this thing, just going to an aluminum intake. One of the things I am going to do is on the factory intake gasket, they have the exhaust crossover in there. So I ordered a new gasket. So I'm going to replace the gasket so that way I can get the blocked off exhaust crossover. You don't need it for fuel injection because you don't need to heat the fuel. So update on the install. It's going back together. Got the intake back on, got the throttle body sitting on, got the wires routed, some of the solenoids mounted, got the hyperspark mounted, and got the coil mounted. Had to do a bunch of dinking around getting the factory AC bracket to clear the intake manifold, so had to do some burring there. And then I was putting this side together. There's actually another bracket that goes from here to over there, but because the intake is so much thicker there, it doesn't reach anymore. And you know what? This thing is mounted in so many different locations. You got the big cast iron bracket here. You got the bracket that goes to the cylinder head here. You got the attachment point down there to the water pump, or the front housing, the water housing. And then you got another strap bracket that goes there. For the love of God, you could pull a freaking tank out of a bog just by the AC pump. It's ridiculous. So something else I was doing, I originally bought this because I was going to try and add that port into the top, but it doesn't have enough clearance. It hits the AC. If you didn't have the AC, you could use that. But here's the thing. This is over the thermostat, will not open until the engine is fully warm. Didn't think that was a good idea, so it's probably still a good idea I did that. My previous water neck actually came out directly over this and would not have cleared that sensor, the temp sensor, but now the temp sensor gets engine temperature through all the ranges through startup. And the sensor I had in there before, if you have one of these C bodies, you know that all it does is it just says cold in the dash and it says hot in the dash. It does not give you any temperature. Now it'll have all that information on the display. So I am not going to run the factory sensor. I'm not going to get rid of, I'm not going to clip the harness or anything in case I ever wanted to switch back for some odd reason. But anyway, so in the end, it was good to have that. So far, so good. And basically the finished product under the hood. So I I could have hid the stuff better if I wanted to make it look more factory. Like I could have hid the regulator and hid all that other stuff, you know, in behind, tucked it in behind the fender, and kind of made it look more factory, because with that big air cleaner on there, you know, you don't see the Sniper. But I want this thing to be serviceable. You know, I don't really, for this car, I don't see the need to try and hide it and give it that like shaved look. But anyway, one of the things that I had to do is, and it's important, and why I'm showing the number for this radiator hose is it now snakes in and through those belts, which had to make a concession there. So as you know, if you have to change the belts on this thing, you have to drain a little bit of coolant out and snake it around. So whatever, no big deal. I do see I should change that heater hose. That thing got rubbed on at some point. But yeah, works good. No real complaints. So